Okay, hello. I just thought I'd share some of my work with you in case you're interested. This was a sketchbook I started many years ago, and just something I used to play around with. This is, I don't know if I put dates on any of these. Just when I had some free time or was on a trip and needed something to fill a little time, so I draw things that I saw around me. This was in San Diego, a little picture I made, and a still life I made when I was at the farmer's market, and that was about 6 or 7 years ago that I did that, and I think that's it in there, so I kind of quit doing that. Then, so here's some paintings I did after I retired, and I had some time to paint, and I started out doing paint, watercolors basically. So I did this, actually took a watercolor class and did this one, and this is my favorite painting of all time that I've done. It's acrylic. I actually make small prints of this and sell them as cards. And this was a hydrangea from my garden. And this was one of my daughter's cats, Sunny. This is a print of a large painting I did, which I have hanging actually in my hall. And this one was just a little made-up scene that I made, watercolor with some ink. Another made-up picture, some trees. And this one, I think I looked at a picture to get some help on this one. This one I also looked at a picture. This is actually a painting I did from a photograph I took from where I used to live. And also this one. This was an area I used to like to go for walks in, and I took lots of pictures, so I did this painting of that. These are two kind of my Georgia O'Keeffe style flowers that I did from pictures. This is a print of a painting I did too, which I don't have that painting anymore. And my poinsettias, which I struggled with. And another painting I did from another picture, photograph. This one I have the original of this, and it's in my living room. It's very big. This one I just was playing around and doing a still life when I was over at my sister's. We both did it, the same picture. And this one I was playing around with some different techniques using ink. This one was inspired by when we used to live in New Mexico. A little more abstract. Some more flowers using that ink technique. That's my son-in-law's dog. And so those are, he has the original painting of the dog. So those are some paintings. Then I started doing collage, which I had a lot of fun with those. And these are prints of some of my collages, which most of these collages I still have. This one's just layers of paper. This one I actually did sell. That was a lot of work to do that collage. And I think I sold this one too. Let's see the birds, and then there's the cat that's watching. And then I kind of got more into abstract type collages. And I have several of these I made that I still have them. And this one. This one I actually was a gift to my sister. I made it after a visit we had, and we had gone to the art walk, and we had gone out for Chinese food, and these all just represent things we did together. And then this one here is just kind of a fun one, just playing around with collage. Definitely just scraps glued down on that one. Another collage that I made. Pretty sure I still have all of these. That was kind of fun. My 60s collage. And this one here really had used some interesting papers on this one. An abstract. Another abstract. This one actually, my sister has that one. And more of these abstract type. These are all like just prints of the originals, which most of these originals I have. This one actually has dried flowers in it. I hope you can see these. There's another one. I think I might have sold that one. And another one. And this one. This was fun. My sister and I got together and did collages at her house, and I made this one, which was a lot of fun. And I made this one when we were having our little creative weekend. This one I did like at 11 o'clock in the morning, just playing around with that. Another one. And another one. This one's actually three-dimensional. It has some pieces of beach glass I found that are stitched on top. That. There's one. And, oh, yeah, this one I actually, it says sold, which I did sell that one, surprisingly. I think it was the first thing I ever sold of my artwork. This one, which is sort of a combination collage and painting. This one just blowing paint through a straw. Then these are ones I made cards of and actually used to sell sets of cards with my flowers and my ocean themed ones. I don't have any of those anymore. That's not my work, that's my sister's. So that's the collage era. Then after that, instead of doing collages, I decided I would make them into art journals. So this is the first art journal I ever made. Very thick cover, lots of, I think I did a lot of embossing and, you know, three-dimensional stuff. It was fun. It's pretty wild. So this was the first page in my art journal. I actually wrote in it too. I wasn't sure what exactly I should write, so it's kind of like stream of consciousness type stuff. And the pages are really thick. It's watercolor paper. This one is also one of my art journal pages. And here's one. It's a combination of pictures and collage and writing. This one here about trees, and I wrote about trees in here. So I think I wrote some quotes about trees. Another collage, paper, and some of my handmade paper that I decorated myself, and then stenciling. Here's another one. And this one I never did quite finish. So that was my first art journal. So I kind of enjoyed that, so I did another one. This time I switched to a 3-ring binder. I like the cover of this. I used a stencil. I was definitely at this time into learning lots of different art techniques like reverse stenciling and so on and so forth. So did a little napkin collage there. And so just had fun playing in this one, doing different fun things, whatever I felt like. That's one of my daughter's cats, Luna. The Halloween one. So these are collage. Lots of different things there. I just kind of got into doing Zentangles, so that's sort of what that is. That's my granddaughter. Acrylic paints. This one, I'm pretty sure that's collaged on there, and then I just did the background. Another one of Chloe. She was actually in this picture going down a water slide. So this one actually has feathers on it. Some strips of paper are supposed to be the nest. And this one was about a dream I had. This one's unfinished, but an interesting background. Another Zentangle one, and there's Chloe again. Pretty colorful. As you can see, I was definitely into Zen doodling. This one's collage. This one is just a nice background. I never finished it. This one's collage. It's twisted paper for the stems and buttons and petals. And these are just backgrounds. Didn't quite get finished. So that's that one. Then I did this one. Next, another art journal. Thick, heavy paper. Lots of collage and acrylic paint. I did some stitching. It's actually a picture of one of my relatives. That's a stencil. A little bit of Edgar Allan Poe down there. That's Irma. This is about Irma, my neighbor. Some birds I drew. These pages kind of stick together. This was kind of fun. Another Zen Doodle one. And another Zen Doodle one. Some collage. Little watercolor paintings, which I enjoy doing. Birthday card I designed for my daughter. More little watercolor paintings. These are watercolors I did of Chloe. This one at the beach, and this was from a picture that my daughter sent me when they were on one of their trips. This one's watercolor and lots of spraying inks and white pen. And just kind of a fun one there. Flowers, collage, and some gel stuff I used to use for texture. Scaredy cat, that's what I called this one. A background, not finished. Didn't finish that. It's like my interpretation of the wave. Lots of birds. Some collage from magazine pages. my granddaughter again. And that's the last page of that one. So, and then this one, so just a little one I made to do watercolors in, and it has watercolor paper in it. The cover is made from using that technique where you paint pages of National Geographic with Citrusol, and this is what happens. It's kind of cool looking. So yeah, this was 2012, so this was a little painting, just made up scene. Yeah, most of these were from my imagination. Nothing. I think some of these pages fold out. Hold on. So yeah, so there's that one. And this folds out like that. And this was like a little book I would take with me on trips, just to play around and have something to do when I was out of my studio. I used my Inktense pencils, yeah, for this one. So that was my color chart, so I knew the colors. There's Chloe again, my favorite subject. There she is again. And here, in her big puffy coat. Just a little Zen doodle. And, well, this is a painting I did from where I used to live in Pacific City. Chloe did this page. And that's that one. Then next, I think I did another art journal. This one's a lot of collage, acrylic paints. I did put a little gesso on there. There's the cover of the back. It's before I was making any journals to sell, though. So just collage. Lots of different odds and ends there. These girls I cut from a magazine and just kind of embellished them. Some more things from magazines. Just playing around with different techniques. They're kind of stuck together. And I waxed these pages too, so I'm not going to try to pull that apart because I'll probably try to use my heat gun, see if I can get that apart. So a magazine picture, just added a lot to it. I think this was wrapping paper. Well, I did draw that cat. Here. Everyone's stuck together. I'm going to have to put some wax paper between these pages. Just some collages where I was playing around, different things. She's a lady from a magazine. She actually was wearing that mask in the photograph. And this one, I like this one a lot. Just lots of different people with some Zen doodling. Abstract. Oh dear. That's not going to come apart. This was a page from an adult coloring book. This was a stenciled page. Photograph. I just kind of glued it out and then sort of glued it on and sort of filled in the background. And these pages were just starts that never got finished. Except, I think, oh, this one's done too. And then the rest of these unfinished pages. Then I saw Shannon Green do her journal for no reason, so I decided I wanted to do one too. I had this magazine. It was a Ms. magazine from the 70s, so it seemed like a good choice to turn into a journal. So I had a lot of fun doing this one. Just playing around. Some of these are like the original pictures in the magazine, and then things I added. There's Chloe. All kinds of stuff. I think this is all just collage there. This one probably I wasn't done with. There's the subscription card. So you can see some of the stuff from the original magazine back there. Lots of gluing and painting and stenciling and a little stamping, I think, too. So, you know, that's from the original magazine. This I added. That's a potato print stamp I think I made probably, oh man, 30, 40 years ago. And let's see what we got here. Yeah, that's some pictures I put in here from different places. Like that was from a newspaper I got in New Mexico. A map, some cutout hearts. Not quite finished there. That one's not quite finished either. I always thought I'd go back and add more to this, but I kind of never did. Nice background. Just very fun to glue, just glue things down and not really care what you do. Whatever, anything goes. So there's that. Then I did another more traditional art journal. This actually bound in some signatures, 2 of them. And these, yeah, I was kind of like, you know, trying to make them look more like a picture. This one has a little pocket. Oh yeah, I think I used a lot of greeting cards in this one too. That was a greeting card. There's a little tag. And a little envelope I made. Sounds like fun. This one didn't get finished. And this one didn't either. So there's just a plain card tag. Some paper tag. This was a greeting card. I think all these were greeting cards actually. You can kind of see it goes through, shows through there. Unfinished. Oh, yeah, this one's kind of finished. folds out like that. And it folds out like that. It's a card made from one of my sister's paintings. That's my dad. Not finished. I did finish this one. I made this little book. I call it, it says whatever, and inside it just has little bits of text from books. Here's just some sewn down pieces of corners of paper where there were postage stamps, which I took the stamps off. That's kind of stuck in there. Excuse me. So this is just a little ad about pipe tobacco and the one-piece water closet. And then she just sort of slides out, just like that. It fits right in here. And that's that one. So then, last one of the art ones. This was the sketchbook I got a couple of years ago when I was in Bend, when my brother was in the hospital so much. So my sister and I were there. We just wanted to have something to do while we were, it's a room key, while we were waiting around for him to have treatments or whatever. So it was just fun to have a sketchbook. And we only had for collage materials just whatever newspapers or magazines we could find. So that's what I used on these. I did have some marking pens. Very limited supply of materials. And my brother had some magazines, so we did find a few things we could cut out. That's a little picture I drew. I think I used colored pencils. Another Zen doodle, never finished. Just a drawing of a lady in a magazine. Collage. As you can see, we had a little time on our hands. There was an article about succulents, which I thought were very pretty. This background paper was actually from a magazine I snitched from the hospital. Kind of had a little fun with that. So then I did take this same sketchbook with me on a trip to San Diego. So this is stuff I picked up along the way. Travel brochures and magazines. So this was a piece of cloth which I used as my base, and then I just pretended like this was the rest of the picture. So basically there's the rest of that leaf and so on. I think that's all that's in here. So that's it. That was part one.